Hey everybody, it's me Ashley Brooke. I'm autistic and I have 2 autistic children. A little bit about my autism. I was nonverbal till I was 7, and I stopped talking again from ages 10 to 11. And I had a really, I guess you would say, some rare circumstances growing up. My mother was wheelchair bound, and my family is very, the rest of my family is very, gang affiliated, kind of very rowdy, very mean, loud, discriminatory, abusive. So my mother was always stuck in bed, and she would tell me to, direct me to do things for her, like to make food for us to eat. And I knew that we had to eat, and she would tell me, bring me this item, and I'd bring the item to the bed one thing at a time. And then she would chop it up, tell me, like, put it in the pan, go put the flame, at, on medium, and she would direct me step by step everything. And a lot of times it was confusing for me, like the instructions, I wasn't sure of myself. And she always would make me do things that she needed me to do. It was like survival for us. And there were always things that if I needed help, if I didn't know what I was doing, I had to communicate that to her some way. So I believe that is a big reason. And also, she do things like give me like little grocery like advertisements, and she would give me marker, tell me several of the things that you want to get in the store. And then she would tell me, okay, what did you want? And then she would tell me like, oh, what do you want? And she would look, and I would point at the item, and she'd be like, oh, and she'd look at me, and she'd be like, oh, bananas or whatever. She wouldn't verbally say it, but she would make eye contact, like, oh, that bananas, and then we would look at each other like, and she'd always do tongue twisters. She'd always do that, and she'd sing everything. It was really annoying actually, but she would sing everything to me, even when she'd ask me to do something. Like, she would just sing it. Because in her defense, she was a choir instructor back in the day, so she liked to sing. And I also wanted to share, also, we would always do like picture, and I've done this with my son. We will do an activity, like say we go to the park, go on the swing. When we get home, we'll sit there and we'll draw together the scene, and then we'll do like a picture show up. And then we'll talk about, oh, there's you at the park, and they're making the association with the pictures. Usually a lot of times words are happening so fast, or like the anxiety of socializing, half the time we're not processing what's being said. Sometimes we'll shut down depending on the environment. So an activity that they did that day, and drawing it and then talking about it, it was more of a reason to catch the attention, to where, at least in their head, they're saying those words, like, that's me at the park, like that. We do think like that, like we're seeing, like, oh, me at the, like, that's me at the park, like, we know that is us, and that drawing is about us, and we're having more thought process, I believe, when we're doing things like that. I believe that also helped me. My mother also too, she'd always say weird, just random jokes, all the time. They were really cheesy jokes, Half the time I didn't get them. I was just like, what the hell? I was so weird, I didn't even know how to respond to it. And yeah, and a lot of times, it's pretty much just don't do, a lot of people think that their autistic child cannot do things for themselves, or they just feel like, oh, I'm just going to do that for them. They're thinking that the child has more of a delay than they do. even if your child's nonverbal, even if they are, having meltdowns in the stores, even if the behaviors are something that you're not used to, that you don't understand, we understand a lot. We're paying attention, like, more probably than neurotypicals. We're always observing and paying attention, so you just have to be consistent and I highly, oh my god, I can't press this enough. A lot of people that have nonverbal children, I know because I was one, and that's just how they treated me also too a lot of times, depending on my parents' mood or what the hell was going on. When things were happening, dysfunctional things, emotional things that were overly stimulating, they didn't really talk to me walk me through what happened, to assure me, or they didn't help me, prompt me to know how to process that situation. A lot of times we need a little bit of support, a little kickstart, a little nudge to, how am I supposed to feel about this, and you really don't want to make the mistake of, doing everything for me. Because it's partially a parent thinking that their child isn't capable. And guess what? If you think your child's not capable, that means that your behavior is maybe loving, but you're also expressing that you don't think that they're capable. You also want to, come on, like I tell my son, come on, Ozzy, you got this, let's do this. And I know he doesn't want to do certain things, but we're the parent. Don't let us being autistic stop you from pushing us to do things. No matter of fact, we should start even younger. My son, I'm starting to do a lot of things that he's gonna even know how to do when he's older. He's only 10, but what if something happens to us? Make sure your child can take care of themselves. They can at least make their own food and do stuff like that. I highly suggest that you do activities, cook with them, cook with your child, have them do little jobs, like if you're making dinner, have them, peel up the potatoes, have them do little things, prepping, have them do those things. It really, really helps. My mom used to have me prep cooking all the time and do things for her like that, and it made me feel appreciated. It made me feel capable. And it made me feel like, oh, I can do other things. And it made me also, have to, push myself. And kind of just maybe, I think it was more it made me confident enough and capable enough to where when I needed to communicate, it was both of those things combined that made me, I think, express myself. I also was just in a dysfunctional home, and I actually first spoke when I yelled at my father, to be honest with you. Yeah, it scared the hell out of him. But honestly, talk to your children all the time. I tell my son about my day. He knows everything about me. And I was like, why? Why do you not? I'm like, no, my son understands everything I know because I understand everything. And my son is not stupid. I don't even care if he does standing in. And he makes little laughing really loud, contagious laughing. He's still understanding, and he still is very mature. That's just part of our autism. I used to laugh like that when I was younger too. This world has it so wrong. I'm really sad. I feel really bad for neurotypical sometimes because autistic people, we just need to help our, the medical association with our diagnosis, and once we get our health in order, then we can work on practicing and studying social communication, and then we're actually more well-rounded than the neurotypical. But you gotta, it's gonna take some steps, and you're gonna have to do it in order. You don't you want to make sure you get your health, exercise, diet, and practice social and communication skills. I practice and I practice, and I know it's weird, but I practice being very, very silly, dancing, I always have, and I'm not a great dancer or a singer. I sound like Scuttle, but you have to keep it up.